Welcome back to the 10 Talk. Today, kind of got a personal story to tell. It's about our adopted son John, which I was in a previous marriage where we could not have children. So we decided to look at the adoption process, and first tried going through the state, and it seemed like through the government it was almost impossible. It was just like they just made it almost impossible to be able to happen. So we ended up going through an adoption lawyer, and they said no problem. Going back to that time, the birth mother of his was a high school girl who was 16 years old, and she found herself in a very difficult situation in high school, 16 years old, with an unplanned pregnancy. Thank the Lord, she found the strength to be a strong young woman, to be bold and stand up in the face of the really difficult decision, any potential political pressure, peer pressure, embarrassment. She had the tough decision to make, but thank God she chose to allow John to have a chance at life, because it would have been really easier in her situation to have chosen an easy, quick way out to make a decision that would make it easier and more comfortable for herself than to go through what she did to allow him to have a chance at life. So I just think back on some of that, where she had said that she just wanted to see him really quick, and then she was going to allow him to be adopted. Well, she took a lot longer than I think she thought she would at this miracle of life that she gave birth to, that, you know, the father or her could not have done without God, the one who creates all life, giving John life. But so she took a while, but then I just remember, this new life that was born into the world, that was going to be, at the time, my first son. And just, holding that new precious life that God created, in a situation that was not the best of situations, was an uncomfortable situation and a hard situation, and, potentially people could think a bad situation, but she decided to give John a chance at life over her comfort, and decided to do some hard things to give him a chance at life. And he didn't come into, a perfect situation either. As I mentioned, my first marriage, we ended up going through divorce. It was a hard divorce. It was a bad divorce. It was a bad situation. And he had to go through that. It was not the best situation. Finances were tough, not easy at all in that situation. So it was not at all a perfect situation. And I just remember back, when he was a little baby, he was a colicky baby. So he woke up at nights and was screaming and crying, and I just remember, holding him and trying to help him calm down and everything, and just going, oh, dude, just please go to sleep. I'm so tired and so tired. But man, that I would have never had that opportunity to hold him, and when he was a baby, and for the first time when he was a newborn, and all that. And he ended up getting really into basketball. So we went to all these basketball games. I had all these videos of him playing basketball and going to all these basketball games and all that. And just, in my imperfectness, and I had been into basketball when I was a kid too, but in my imperfectness, he was so into it, just trying to help him out and what I could in my father coaching of him, and just thinking about those times of spending with him playing basketball and going to those games and reviewing videos with him, trying to help him out with his game and everything, that if his mom wouldn't have chose to allow him a chance at life, never would have had those memories and those opportunities and all those videos that we have of him just being so happy and so into playing basketball. And then when Matt, our youngest son, came along, he went to all those games, and his thing was waiting for that halftime, Big Brother's game at halftime, where he could go out and shoot baskets on the floor, and just thinking about all those times where the fans would get all into it. This little kid out there, John's little brother, shooting baskets, they're cheering him on and everything. And he would have never had that opportunity. He would have never had that older brother. And our oldest daughter now, through my wife's first marriage, she would have had that younger brother. And just thinking back, seeing him, being able to ride a bike for the first time, and being able to experience that with him, and swimming for the first time, and just thinking all these things. And then he loved basketball so much that he became a coach afterwards. And just hearing some of the stories and seeing him interact with those other kids, where he was able to speak into those kids' lives. So many kids that he's getting to speak into by being a coach and mentor, not just helping them to learn how to play basketball and learn plays and all that, but he is able to speak into these kids' lives, and just thinking that, whatever way he's been able to help these other people, kids that he's been a mentor and an influence in their lives, if his mother wouldn't have made that hard choice, that hard decision, life over death for John, those kids wouldn't have had him there. He wouldn't have been able to be there for him. And hearing stories of his friends, and just seeing how he gets along with his friends, and how many friends love him, and just he's been there for them to help them out and everything, and that would have never happened, would have never been. Just thinking all the lives that he's been able to touch in his life. And then now being married, we were able to have a daughter-in-law and her family, which we're just really excited, and been just an incredible thing for our families to be able to come together and grow our family together, and just be able to meet and hang out and enjoy each other's company, and just have more people to love. That if John wouldn't have been here, we probably would not even know these people, not be able to have had those memories of meeting them and being together and the wedding and all that. All right, we're over here to meet Lainey today, our fourth grandchild, our son John, his wife Anna's first baby.
So it's nice, it's fun. It's a pretty cool little gift.
John really likes to be a coach, and just thinking of all the lives that he's potentially going to touch through being a coach and mentoring young boys, young men. And thinking back how I can't even imagine. that his life could have been so easily snuffed out and not even given a chance. Just having these memories and thinking about him and all the lives, including my life, his mom's life, and everybody else, all the relatives and new family through his marriage that he's been able to touch and be a part of, that wouldn't have happened. That wouldn't have happened. He would have never even had a chance. But God created his life, and I know there's a lot of hard, tough situations. I'm not going to minimize it. Absolutely incredibly tough, hard situations out there through rape and all these other kind of things that go on and happen that women have to do hard things. But you know what? That rapist did not give that baby life. It's only God who gives life. Now, it may have happened through a bad situation. Unfortunately, we live in this evil, sinful world where all kinds of bad things happen, incredibly bad and hard things that I can't even imagine. But thank God that there's choices and that there is a God who loves every single person who he's created. And he wants to give people hope. He wants to give people strength and love people through the hardest and darkest situations. We all in this world go through really, really hard situations and tough things that we have to go through. And thankfully in our case, there was this adoption lawyers where, man, it was, for us, it was a hard thing. It's not inexpensive. It's really expensive. But that brave young woman that allowed John to have a chance at life through the adoption process, all of her expenses were taken care of. That was part of our responsibility. We took care of her. Travel, medical, anything and everything was taken care of for her. So thank God for that. Thank God. And there's so many people out there, that were in our situation that can't have children, that would love to give a child life. I understand, the one thing that's talked about a lot is rape. Man, that would be like probably one of the hardest things to deal with. And, if the memory of that would be too hard, there are people out there that would want to give a child that's been through. The child didn't do it. The child's innocent. And God allowed that child to have life, and thinking about a child. And there are stories about that too. Like John, where it would have been so easy for him to not get a chance. And just thinking of all the lives that he's touched, including mine. And his relatives, family, and friends that could have so easily not been able to happen. So I just thank God that his mom was a strong young lady. She did the strong thing, the hard thing, gave John a chance at life. And just seeing that through that hard, tough decision, how many lives he has touched. And again, I just can't even imagine. I just can't even imagine him not even given that chance could have so easily been taken away from him, and he would not have been able to touch all the lives that he's been touched through God creating that son of ours. That there's so many memories, and I just can't even imagine. I just can't even imagine now, knowing him, have been through life with him, that opportunity at life from him could have been taken away.